Feel free to use the chat box here on the right side. And before we jump into the intros, just want to do one more thing. If you aren't currently subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button right down there and hit that notification bell to get future updates on virtual events that we have planned. So I'm going to start it off with some intros here from the team joining me. So I'm going to go ahead and bring those folks in. And let's go ahead and have you guys introduce yourselves.
So I think I'm up first. My name is Chase Alderton. I am the marketing manager at Recharge. I'm excited to talk to you guys about the subscription billing offering and how that relates to the customer experience. And I'm going to apologize up front for the hat because my hair is officially too long. So no hairstyling today. Got to wear the hat.
I just saw a picture of myself the other day, and I'm like, I need a haircut so bad. I'm with you. My name's Jake. I work at Klaviyo. I lead product marketing. I'm going to share a lot of data, a lot of information on what's happening in the world so that you know what's up.
My name is Mora Sulin. I'm the Senior Account Director at Okendo, based out of Miami, and I'm going to share with you how to build and engage with customer intimacy, and then obviously with COVID-19, how to market yourself during these crazy times.
Awesome. And then finally me, I don't have a hair problem, but I am Rapunzel at this point. So I'm from Refersion. I'm the Director of Partnerships. I lead all of our big partnerships here. Really excited to have all our wonderful partners join us today. Thank you guys. And I'm going to be recapping after everyone goes on how we can use affiliate and influencer marketing to continue to drive customer loyalty. So yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to pass it over to our friends at Recharge. Chase, if you want to take it from here, I'll go ahead and hand over the screen to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I will jump in right about now. So again, my name is Chase. I'm with Recharge. Today's focus is going to be customer experience, but we're taking kind of a subscription lens there. That's obviously what we do best, so that's what we're going to talk about. So I also want to touch on kind of what we're seeing as far as trends go and how that plays into the future of subscription commerce. So I like to start out by showing a couple of the brands that we work with, not to kind of show off who we work with, more to show you that if the subscription first business model works for some of these clients, then it definitely works for you as well. That's what we hear a lot of this frustration that, sometimes subscription may not fit well, or you don't think that it's a great business model. So if these companies have figured it out, we can definitely find a way for you to as well. So some of these brands that we work with are DNVBs like Native Deodorant, Dr. Expedition. We also work with Fortune 500 companies like Disney and Unilever, in addition to other fast-growing merchants on Shopify like Manscaped and Billy. So jumping right in, give you a few stats right off the bat. We're seeing new brands, entrant brands that are launching with their focus on subscription-first commerce. Legacy brands are pivoting to focus more on recurring revenue, and those brands that are focusing on subscription first have revenues that are growing 9 times faster than the S&P 500 average, which is an awesome stat, I think. But the name of the game in subscription commerce is retention. So while acquisition is obviously important, the goal is to keep all those customers you work so hard to acquire. So we look at lifetime value, or LTV, as the gold standard metric. Stores that sell one-time products would love to have their previous customers come back, return, purchase again. It increases their customer value by up to 3 times. For the subscription-focused stores, customers are naturally inclined to return and repurchase, so that makes them worth up to 7 times their value, or even more so. So jumping right into the customer experience, that's what subscriptions are all about. So our goal is to focus on relational commerce, not transactional commerce. So I'll come back to that idea frequently about this relational versus transactional idea. This is Black Rifle Coffee Company. They're a growing brand on Recharge. They have one of the cooler checkout flows we've seen. So as far as customizations and checkout experience goes, when you land on their site, you're directed to their coffee club, which allows you to customize your own subscription so you get exactly what you want. So straight away in this example, you choose what kind of coffee you want, whether it's single origin, blend, region, all that kind of stuff. Then you choose the type of coffee. So you're getting beans, ground kind of coffee, K-cups they even offer. And the next is quantity or frequency. So this is actually an often overlooked piece of this. We always assume that people want one of whatever they want to buy, but you don't know if this is a family or if this is a couple or if this is a group of people living in one household. So Black Rifle Coffee lets you pick 1, 2, 3, or 4 bags. And they also let you choose frequency. So they're not going to assume that you need a certain number of bags per month. They let you pick, is it 1 bag every 3 months? Is it 4 bags every 1 month? I know I'm blown through coffee in this quarantine, so that's something that to keep in mind is offering quantity. So you can kind of see what I'm getting at here is that the result of this subscription is this hyper-specific package that gets the consumer exactly what they want and on their own time frame. And it's a perfectly tailored solution that keeps the customer coming back to repurchase again. Once the customer does purchase, this is the back end. So this is the customer portal. So every subscriber, once they do subscribe, gets an individual portal. It's something you customize top to bottom using recharge features. And it's where the customer is allowed to make changes, edit, swap their order however they want to. So this is Native Deodorant. This is actually a live customer. And I actually stumbled on these guys by accident, but this is a great example. So if you look on the right, the women's body wash, you can see that's what's next in their delivery, which is on May 4th. The women's body wash right there. In the future delivery section a little bit lower, it'll show the women's deodorant and the men's deodorant. So this is actually safe to assume this is one of those households we're talking about, not just one person. So the delivery frequencies is the cool thing here on the next 3 orders. So if you look at the women's body wash, it delivers every month. The women's deodorant delivers every 4 months, and the men's deodorant delivers every 2 months. So that's a total random time frame. It's not a 1 month, or it's not a 1 product per month kind of thing. This person's customized their delivery to be exactly what they need. So Native doesn't have to assume that 1 month is the appropriate time frame to deliver each of these products. If you click on the Manage Subscription button on the right, you get to this screen, which is just diving in a bit deeper. So this is where the customer can manage each individual subscription. So there's standard options like billing address, shipping address, those kind of things. But they've done an awesome job of adding in additional features here. So that big May 4 button allows you to pick a new date you want your product shipped. So one of 2 examples. Let's say you're on vacation. Let's say you accidentally leave your body wash, which is something I do all the time, and I'm always out of body wash. You jump into that May 4 date, you bump up the date to tomorrow or this week, and you have a body wash before your next scheduled ship date. Alternatively, let's say you go on vacation again, the shipment's supposed to deliver while you are on vacation. You can click a date in the future, and it'll allow you to be home while you get your shipment instead of having that sit on your front doorstep for a while. Clicking on the actual product on the left allows you to choose a new product entirely. So if you're sick of this cucumber and mint smell, you can change it up and get a different product. But the real fun, my favorite thing to talk about on the right here with all those red Add Now buttons is this one-time products thing. So they've enabled a recharge feature called one-time products to offer cross-sells and upsells directly inside the customer portal. So Native knows that you're subscribed to this body wash. So what they do is they offer complimentary products on a one-time basis to see if they can increase your average order value. So what they do in these 6 options is they suggest 3 different smells compared to your original product. So again, if you're sick of the cucumber and mint, you can pick a couple different ones. They offer 2 gender different products, so other 2 deodorants, and they also offer a toothpaste. So if you're enjoying one of their products, why not try something else out on a one-time purchase, see if it's something you enjoy, and then maybe start subscribing to that in the future. So I wanted to bring this in. I know data is kind of a huge talking point while we're in COVID-19. Recharge just recently released our first annual State of Physical Subscription Commerce report, which dives into aggregate recharge data for a whole host of data points. So for the first time, Shopify merchants can benchmark their data against their peers within their vertical. So we're not just talking, a plan length is a certain percentage. We're actually kind of drilling down onto this and seeing which verticals are performing better than others. So plan lengths is one of the most interesting things we see, and it goes right back into this customer experience idea, where a majority of merchants are shipping on a monthly basis. And for most people, that works. So I'm not telling you to do one or the other, but for most merchants, that does work. Both Black Rifle Coffee and Native ship on a monthly cadence, but they do have other frequencies as well. So this kind of neon green section, this 35%, this is a growing number that we've seen in the past. But this is merchants who will sell on a custom time frame, which allows you to deliver products exactly when your customers need them and not assuming that they know one way or another. So a great example of this is a laundry detergent company called Smol. So Smol, when you go through their checkout flow, they ask you a few questions. They determine the appropriate amount of laundry detergent to be delivering on a specific time frame. So in this case, this is actually my delivery frame. So I'm a subscriber. So this is 24 pods every 84 days. So I'm not actually sure how they delivered that or how they figured that out. But the cool thing is, why ship every 3 months? So why ship every 90 days when they assume that I'm going to run out every 84 days? Then I'm out of luck for those extra 6 days. Conversely, why ship every 30 days? Because then I have to remember to come back in, re-up my shipment, make sure everything's working the way it needs to go. So customizing the frequency and the quantity is highly recommended for each of those products. Another cool graph that I like to show is churn rate. So with every positive comes a negative, obviously. We talked about it earlier, but fighting churn is the name of the game for subscription merchants. So if you can reduce active and passive churn, your business has a much higher chance of survival and thriving into the future. So there's a lot of ways to do this. I'm not going to get into how to reduce churn, but the key thing here is that there are two different types of churn that people tend to forget about. So active churn is the one that everyone thinks normally. That's when someone logs into your customer portal, they can check out what's going on, they actively canceled, they figure, I don't need this product anymore. The one that people tend to forget about is passive churn. So this is things like credit card declines, expirations, dunning issues, things like that. Next up, and kind of the granddaddy of them all, which is LTV. This is our gold standard metric. This is what everyone's trying to increase. This is what the North Star for everybody. So the longer you keep a subscriber around, the more products they purchase, the higher their lifetime value. The key is that LTV must outweigh the cost of acquisition. Otherwise, your company's losing money. On a one-to-one basis for non-subscription companies, you have to make money on that first purchase because you're acquiring a customer for X dollars. You have to make money on that original purchase or your company's losing money. With subscriptions, you do have a little bit of a leeway. If you assume that they're going to be subscribed for a certain amount of months, you have some wiggle room to play with for cost of acquisition. But this is a cool graph to look at because COVID's provided us an opportunity to really look in the mirror at our own brands and figure out if this is the best experience for your customers. So take advantage of this time, whether sales are up or down, figure out a long-term strategy that makes the most sense for your brand. So if sales have increased, are those customers going to stick around once this whole thing calms down? Try to find ways to retain them more effectively. If sales are down, what are you doing long-term to kind of flatten out that curve a bit? Both are viable options and things that everybody needs to take into account. Coming to the end here, this is one of my favorite quotes. I think it accurately sums up the whole customer experience from an entrepreneurial mind. The customer exists with whatever you're selling. It's just a matter of finding those customers. But once you do, you usually have one shot. So you need to make sure that customer experience is on point. So no pressure, but focus on that and you'll definitely win. I do have to mention pricing because I think it's an awesome thing we're doing for people during COVID right now. We just slashed our 60-day free trial and we're actually doing 100K processing for free. So if you're processing 10K a month, you essentially have 10 months free. If you're killing it already and you're doing 50K a month, then you do get that 60 days free. So that was all I had. I appreciate you guys jumping in here and listening to us. Feel free to shoot me an email, Chase at Recharge Payments. I'm happy to talk about anything. And if you want all of the data in that physical subscription commerce report, check out our website /PSC.
Awesome. Thanks, Chase, for joining us. So we did have one question that was brought up. So are there any new subscription models that could work for non-traditional subscription products? I mean, for example, like myself, I just subscribed to canned water. It's called Liquid Death, and very interesting product. So yeah, I can foresee a lot of these new things, but from your end, what are those new subscription models that you're seeing come out for non-traditional groups?
Canned water and boxed water, actually, we have quite a few companies who do that on Recharge. So that's actually not as weird as you think. But one of the new favorite things that we like to talk about a lot is this membership model. So things like clothes, where you don't necessarily need to get a beauty product or a new shirt or something every month. We're seeing a membership model. So to be really brief, a company that we talk about all the time is called Freshly Picked. It's a mother and daughter matching kind of like moccasin and clothing company. So they do $10 a month. What they let you do is you get free shipping. They credit your account for $10 immediately, so you're not actually losing any money in the form of loyalty rewards points. They can actually limit the amount of access that people see on the back end of their site. So if you're a subscriber, you get early access to some things like feature releases, product launches, things like that. And then I think I said free shipping already. So membership models, it's a great way to kind of build that customer loyalty, that brand loyalty, increase the customer experience like we're talking about consistently here. But for products that don't usually work on a subscription, this is a great way to get people onto a subscription plan.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Chase. I appreciate everything. And if you have any other further questions for Chase, you can pop those into the chat box on the right side of your screen. So we're actually going to move over to our friends at Klaviyo. We have Jake, who oversees product at Klaviyo, and Jake has some pretty awesome stuff that he's going to share with you today.
Thanks. Hi. Let me get this going here. Let's do my entire screen. That would be this one. We'll have a little inception moment for just a second. All right. Can you all see these slides here?
Yeah.
Yes. Oops, sorry, 1 second. There
Yes.
we go. We're set.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So this is me. Hi. I'm Jake. I lead product marketing. I will make one plug, actually 2 plugs. One is you should follow me on Twitter because I retweet a lot of stuff that is useful for you, specifically if you work in e-commerce and you want to know what's happening by the minute. 2, everyone should know this by now, but if you're not using Klaviyo, you should give it a shot. It's free to start. It has always been free, will always be free to start. Go to klaviyo.com and check it out. All right, the end. So if you don't know about Klaviyo, we're the only marketing platform in the world that helps e-commerce businesses on their very first day and scales with them as they grow. So on the bottom is literally, we talk a lot about the customer journey, the brand journey, on how it starts as a side hustle, as a weekend thing that you want to go do, and eventually becomes Kylie Cosmetics if you do it all right. And we're proud to work with brands all along the way. Folks that work, on their side hustle on the weekend, and then those that have very, very large businesses as they continue to grow. Cool. That's us. Now let's talk about you. So we started on March 17th, which was about 2 days after we were all told we should probably go work from home. We started collecting data because we wanted to be the most trustworthy and reliable place in the world for you to understand what's going on and what will probably happen so that you can make confident decisions for your brand so that you can grow. And so we started with a survey for brands, asking them, hey, what's happening out there? What's happening to your web traffic? What's happening to your conversion rates, your ad spend, your revenue, and your supply chain? And then they quickly said, well, can you tell us what consumers are thinking so we could plan for that? So we did that. And then we said, well, we've got 32,000 businesses around the world. Why don't we go mine that data and actually, tell the real story? And so we do all of this every day. And what we've been doing is sharing it. So if you go to klaviyo.com, at the top is this green header bar. And if you click on that, you'll get a link to a website that hosts all of the data that I'm going to show you, as well as category-specific sales data since the beginning of the year compared to last year, so you can benchmark, predictions on what's coming in the future, analysis of what has been going on, like an absurd amount of information that we update multiple times a day for you. So it's free, it's for everyone. We just want people to feel informed. So this is what's going on. Right now, it's an awful time in the world, but it is totally a calling for e-commerce to help consumers get what they need, which isn't really surprising. But what is kind of why. So right now, obviously stores are closed and consumers need things, right? If you have followed anything that we had written in the past, we shared that it turns out that what's driving spending right now is actually following Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Abe Maslow is a sociologist and philosopher in the mid-1900s who wanted to understand what makes people do what they do. Why do they prioritize, which things in what order? And it starts with, food, shelter, and water, then security, then belonging, then self-esteem, then self-actualization, which is, creative pursuits. And spending has followed that exact pattern, online. People immediately went and bought 3 weeks of food. Then they went and got paper towels, toilet paper, and every bit of Purell they could find. Then they bought office equipment and started doing Zoom with everybody. Then they started buying fitness apparel and fitness goods and health and beauty to feel normal and good about themselves. And then they started buying toys and games and electronics to, expand their mind. Now, as we've kind of gone through those phases, we ask people, what is the thing that makes you decide where you're buying from? And of consumers who responded, over 60% said it's basically just availability and in stock. And then, of course, things like price, free shipping, and fast or at least reliable delivery. What's interesting, though, for small businesses in particular and newer brands, is that being a well-known brand is not something that people really care about right now. They're just looking to get the things that they need. So that presents an opportunity. And obviously, that's working. So this is overall e-commerce brands across 32,600 and something customers globally, normalized to US dollars. And what we've done is I explained that hierarchy of needs. We broke that down into high level categories. So essentials is like food. New essentials are things that you need now that you're stuck or working from home. So things that make you feel good about yourselves, things that make you feel comfortable. So sporting goods and office supplies and fitness apparel and health and beauty and stuff like that. And then non essentials is like luxury apparel and jewelry and other stuff that doesn't really make a difference if we're home or not. And what you can see is that overall sales are up a ton. They're up like 80% since January, with certain peaks being over 120%. And you can see that while all categories are growing, the most amount of growth comes in these new essentials. But what's really interesting is, and this kind of speaks to the fact that consumers are willing to buy from places they've never bought from before. This shows since the beginning of the year, what sales have come from repeat purchasers versus new customers. And what you can see is that like in January and February, it was relatively flat, that, almost 50% of sales came from repeat customers, which is very typical. And then around March 15th, which is when this all begins, you can see that it's mostly still flat for repeat purchasing, but holy smokes, new customers are really big. And as a reminder, if you go back, that is literally the growth, right? It's coming from new customers. And so because stores are closed and because not all stores have inventory in stock or are taking a long time to deliver, consumers are looking for new places to find the things that they need. The other really interesting thing about this, we took I think you can see that. We took a look into lists. So basically marketing databases, if you will. Obviously, Klaviyo, we help businesses maintain their marketing lists and communicate with them across multiple channels. And so we wanted to understand as an idea, what's happening. If it's true that new customers are really coming in, then it should also be true that there are new lists. And so what this is I really like data and charts, so I apologize if this gets kind of wonky, but like this is so fun. This dark set of columns is the total number of profiles among roughly 9,000 businesses that we have visibility into for both years. And then the lighter blue are the total profiles of the same set of customers in 2020. So number one, you can see pretty material growth year over year. So that's pretty cool. But what gets really interesting is when we look at over Q1 and into April, how quickly those lists are growing. Now, this yellow shows profile growth rate by month in 2019. And so this is comparing the dark bars as you go. And you can see that, from December to January, there was about a 5.5% growth. From January to February, it was about 4%, give or take. February to March got down closer to 3%. And then, April is about 3%. But there's an inverse trend happening this year, right? Customer bases are growing at an increasing rate. And so I actually expect this to continue to go as more and more consumers are turning online. We did a study in New York City to try and anticipate what would happen in the rest of the country. And we found that there are more net new e-commerce shoppers every single week, partly because people who had never shopped online are coming online. That's a big contributor to it. And then, of course, for this list growth, people who are buyers online typically are expanding the categories that they're buying in. The other interesting thing that we noticed, this is literally fresh today. No, I don't think I published this in my video this morning. I do a daily video, but no one else has seen this yet. So this is Klaviyo offers sign-up forms for free. And this shows since we launched sign-up forms, which is in September 1st, 2018, how many submissions, so someone's signing up their sign-up form. And then I plotted the submission rate over time. So you can see on average, Klaviyo customers get about 3%. But there's really two interesting data points here. Number one, you can see that there's an upward swing of the average form submission rate, so the conversion rate, and it's hit an all-time high at about 3.4%, 3.45%, I think is the number. And again, I anticipate that will continue to go up. But what's really interesting about that is you'll see this huge jump from March 1st to April 1st. This goes from 10 million to 17 million total submissions. Now, what's fascinating about this is we were like, holy smokes, that's pretty big. Why? We thought maybe it has to do with the fact that there are more businesses that have forms now. And that is not true. There are not, I think it was 5 or 10% more. So it's not materially more. Maybe it's the fact that they have more forms up, but the average is 1.64 forms per website, and that has remained consistent. What it turns out is more people are coming to websites. Traffic is just up and through the roof. And so what is amazing about that is you would typically, when traffic goes up, you actually see conversion rates go down. But in this case, we're seeing both traffic up and conversion rates go up, which means that, customer bases are growing a lot, and there's a big opportunity to connect with consumers today so that you can continue to work with them in the future. Okay, another interesting thing we noticed. Digital ad spend is dropping tremendously. So this is a chart showing by category for digital ads in the United Kingdom. Obviously, it's just one example, but it's pretty illustrative of what's happening around the world. How, the prediction of what is going to happen to ad spending. And you can see in Q1, there was a little bit of growth, and that's pretty consistent in terms of quarter over quarter growth that you'd expect to see. But there's a huge drop of 40% here. And the reason for that is because big brands are basically pulling out because they need to maintain cash flow to maintain their business. And so that actually creates an opportunity for e-commerce brands. CPMs and CPCs are at all-time lows, and ROASs are at all-time highs. And they are, before all of this, CPMs and CPCs were at all-time highs. So this is like a drastic change. The other interesting thing, and then I'll get into some guidance on what you should do about this, is we poll consumers on, hey, when the stores open, what are you going to do? Because obviously that has pretty big implications on e-commerce brands. And what this shows is the dark blue is, hey, we ask people normally, how do you shop? Are you only online? Are you only in store? Or are you kind of in the middle? And then what do you plan to do in the first month that stores are open? And so what it says is that, more people are planning to skew online. More people want to be exclusively online. More people want to be mostly online. Fewer people are mostly in store. Fewer people are exclusively in store. So all of this presents opportunity, right? So you're probably saying, like, so what do I do about this? So my opinion, and obviously blanket recommendations are not the best. It totally depends on where you're at with your business and what kind of cash flow you have and what your reserves are and so forth. But I really believe this is a time for e-commerce brands to put their foot on the gas. If you don't already have at minimum, a pop-up form with a few second delay and an exit intent form on your site, you should put those up yesterday. If you're not already asking your customers to share your content with their network, you should do that. And you should focus on creating content that's valuable to them. If you create things that are valuable to people, they will consume it. Even if it doesn't try to sell directly, they will engage with your brand, and in turn, they will spend with you. An example, one customer that we work with, Princess Awesome, sells like technology and science themed kids clothing. She put together, when this began, a list of 99 things you can do with your kids at home. She got, for her, this was a lot, tens of thousands of daily views increased because of that, and got picked up by local media because people were just thankful for the tips. It also, yes, her sales were way up as a result of this. Lastly, I do think that you should adjust your expectations on ad spend. If you can get a ROAS of greater than or equal to 1, don't worry about getting 2s and 3s, even though I'm hearing people getting 9s right now. It's key because you have decreased competition and you have the ability to create these relationships, which will be really important later in the year. And then lastly, you should totally have a welcome series so that you can establish a relationship with these consumers so they stick around, and be transparent and clear. Tell them about the story of your brand and tell them how you're doing things differently so that they feel a human connection. I was talking to a store owner this morning in Mexico, actually, and he was saying that he advises a lot of people as well. He's an agency as well, and he basically said, "Oops, sorry everyone." He basically said, in his welcome series, he says thank you a ton of times for people signing up and communicates what's going on. And if he got that same message from Coca-Cola, he'd be a little skeptical. And I think you might be too. It just goes to show that when you can be human, people want to stay connected. Okay, so why should you put your foot on the gas right now? So as I mentioned, major advertisers are really pulled out of advertising, and consumers will go back to stores. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what will big brands who have been quiet and hanging on and having decreased sales do when consumers are ready to go back to stores? The answer is they're going to spend a lot of money because they're going to want to get people to understand my stores are open. And so you should come in and you should buy stuff. They're going to heavily discount. They're going to do special collaborations. They're going to have all sorts of in-store perks for people to come in. And my prediction is that CPC, CPMs are going to be actually higher than they were before this all started, and ROASs are going to be completely decimated, and you will not have the ability or opportunity to efficiently advertise in general, and it will be much more expensive to acquire customers. So if you think about it, if you spend the money now on a one-to-one basis from a spend to acquisition standpoint to get contacts now, you can communicate with them through channels that you own, like email, like SMS, like your website, and that will become less expensive to drive sales later when competition is at an all-time high. This is not novel to us. This is what we call owned marketing, where you can own the customer experience and the communication pattern, all the way through. So for us, this is like, same old stuff, but now is a very compelling time for you to invest in this to make sure that it helps your brand grow. What it really means is that you don't want to be reliant on these partners. If Amazon, for example, decides that your good is non-essential and we have a crisis and they don't want to take your inventory, you've got a problem. And if you need to spend on, these platforms to get customers, but suddenly the rates are 2 or 3 times as expensive, you may have a problem. So obviously not relying on that puts you in more control. So 2 tips, and then I'm done. 2 tips on how you can inform your acquisition strategy. As I mentioned, build your list. Get pop-up forms up, get exit intent up. Klaviyo offers awesome targeting capabilities in terms of targeting people that are not in your database or are in a specific list or segment. If you want to call out some specific offering for people, for example, who have purchased at least 3 times in the past year, whatever you want to do, you can literally do it. The other is, one of the features that our customers love is you can build a segment in Klaviyo, and then through an integration that we have with Facebook, you can actually port that segment as a custom audience to Facebook, and then you can use it to inform a lookalike audience. So one of the best ways to do that is you can build a segment of your high value customers, which can either be, what our predictive analytics tell you people will likely spend, or just simply if you know that 3 orders is big for you, or 4 orders, or whatever, you can build a segment of people who have spent a certain amount or ordered a certain number of times. You can port that segment into a custom audience and do a lookalike, and you will definitely succeed doing that. Cool. I hope that's useful. How do I stop sharing? Let's see. I hope that's useful. Here we go. Stop sharing. We have so much data we're publishing every day. Again, go to klaviyo.com and click on that green bar. You can email me. I'm jake.cohen@Klaviyo. I love talking to people and sharing. And again, follow Klaviyo on any social media channel you want to get this stuff fresh every day. So sorry if that was long. I hope it was helpful.
Awesome. Well, that was awesome, Jake. You hit on a couple good points, like ROAS is at an all-time high, which I think is definitely very true. But also consumers are very, very leaned in at the moment. And what that means is that they're also receiving a lot of emails. I get so many emails from other companies about joining virtual events and content. So with that being said, what is like the open rates at right now in terms of what are open rates right now for email nowadays?
Okay, if you give me 1 second, I can show you exactly.
Love it. He's getting real-time data.
So open rates are up, click rates are up, click-through rates are up, and email revenue is up, which I didn't expect. This is probably the most compelling thing I can show. Let me see if I get the other ones really fast. Yeah, here we go. Okay, ready? This is so cool. Present now. Present a tab. That's cool. I can do that. Slides. How cool is that? All right, sweet. Can you see that?
Yep.
Nice. All right. So email volume is up 33%. Open rates are going up. You can see since March 1st, they've been going up, and they're up about 20-30%. Click rates are up dramatically since March 15th. Revenue per recipient, that's our favorite metric. It's basically showing the efficiency of your sends. So it's total revenue generated or attributed to a message divided by number of people who received it. It's up 40% since January 1st. And then email attributed revenue is up 80% since January 1st. But the best slide for this is, where'd you go? Best slide. Here it is. This is insane. Look at this. We plotted revenue from email compared to 2019 and 2020. This is across 25,000 brands or something, tens of millions of dollars every day. And so you can see this is 2019, like pretty steady growth, and then shabam, that's Black Friday, right?
Mhm.
This is this year,
Wow.
and you can see what happened. Like, yeah, wow is right. It's already up, right? It's effectively double, which is wonderful. Same set of brands. There's a huge drop on March 15th, and then the slope completely changes. And this was April 15th and 16th, the stimulus checks that came out. Got to like 70% of Black Friday, Cyber Monday numbers right now. So like, I don't know what's going to happen, but if you draw this line out and up and you get to here, in theory, we could be above Black Friday, Cyber Monday numbers from last year before we even have the weekend, which is crazy.
It is crazy, and it's more consistent spend over a longer period of time, which is great. So awesome. Well, let's check out to the audience to see if there's any questions here. A lot of thank yous, Jake. So that's good. Great. So I don't see any questions coming in at the moment, but if there are any questions, feel free to put those in the message box on the right side. We're going to move over to Moore, who is joining us from Okendo. Moore, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to share my screen. You let me know.
Great. Looks like we can see it.
See my screen?
Yep.
Sweet. So yeah, my name is Morris Saline. I'm the Senior Account Director at Okendo. I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it before, actually. Home base is actually in Sydney, Australia. I was supposed to go for 2 weeks, but then Corona happened, and that's everyone's story. And then I'm based out of Miami, and we are a customer-centric marketing platform. We're built specifically for direct-to-consumer brands, and the idea is for you to capture and showcase your customer reviews. And obviously, I'm going to touch upon what Jake said with Klaviyo, some pretty awesome stats here. Shopify Plus certified app, and we have over 1,000 direct-to-consumer brands that are using us. Kim Kardashian's brand Skims just signed up with us, so that's also exciting. As far as the agenda for the call, I'll kind of break it up in a high level in 3 parts. The first part will be talking about how to increase customer intimacy with first-party data. The second part, I'll segue into using that type of segmentation to drive engagement. Obviously, I'll touch on Klaviyo because that's very relevant here. And then the third part, I'll talk about how to actually convert that engagement into sales using social proof. Because just because you get this type of information, what really matters is what do you do with it afterwards. So the big goal here for every direct-to-consumer brand, any time period, especially in this time, is to build a direct-to-consumer marketing flywheel, right? So it's just this cycle that starts with first differentiating your brand and ends with better customer experiences. And as you start building this machine, it feeds on itself, and then you start increasing your average order values, your repeat business, and then you become a Goliath in direct-to-consumer brands. So as far as differentiating your brand, that's the first step, and that's the starting point. The brand really has to stand out and live by specific values. It's not enough that you are just it's not enough that shoppers just go through a transactional experience. They need a little bit more. So you need to differentiate yourself out with that. Then it leads into building a community. And the goal of a direct-to-consumer retailer should really be to foster and develop a community of like-minded consumers. Brands should really also encourage consumers to engage and interact with both the brand and other consumers within the brand. Then it segues into obviously this one-on-one customer relationship, and that's the huge advantage of direct-to-consumer brands, right? Because they have an advantage over traditional retailers. And they're able to really own, and Jake mentioned it, really own the customer relationship. And that means that you're communicating and transacting directly with the customer without depending on a middleman or a third party like Amazon or Facebook. And that leads into customer data unification. And being able to own that customer data relationship really means that you can do a lot more for your customer. And I'll talk about it towards other slides, but this is why consumer or buyers of Amazon, right? I'm an Amazon consumer, and I also go to direct-to-consumer brands, but Amazon's support to consumers is phenomenal because they have this direct-to-consumer kind of mindset. And that leads into obviously more advanced personalization, which I'll talk about in more detail. But this data obviously enables direct-to-consumer brands to obviously better understand their customers, who they are, what preferences they like, and then you can double down on that, and eventually leads into this better customer experiences checkpoint, right? You enhance personalization, create better customer experiences, and then the cycle kind of flows over and over. So step one, everybody wants to know, fine, this is the big picture, but how do you actually do it? So step one really starts with increasing customer intimacy with first-party data. Glossier is a client of ours, and so the question is, what is customer intimacy, right? It's a fancy little word, but in layman's terms, it's like the overall data you capture about the customer, and that breaks down into either demographics, lifestyle, or behaviors. Demographics, who they are; lifestyle, what's important to them; and then behaviors is usage, how and when do they actually do things, and it all varies depending on the industry that you're in. And to start off with demographics, general blanket statement demographics, age, gender, occupation, anybody can do that. That's fine. But really, it starts to segment when you're in a particular industry. For example, we have a brand, Glossier, in beauty and skincare, and their demographics that they need to capture in order to, capture that data and then later on market to those customers is skin type, hair color, and eye color. But that changes depending on the vertical that you're in, right? Apparel is different. It's body shape, it's fit, it's measurements. Food and drinks is completely different. Lifestyle is another section, right? And that's really what's important to the shopper. Again, it depends on the industry that you're in. So if you're a direct-to-consumer brand in apparel, then lifestyle would be fitness goals, favorite sports. I play basketball. So for me, if I'm shopping for a direct-to-consumer brand, I want to know if it's relevant to basketball. Food and drinks, what's the health goal, your taste preferences. And the last part is behaviors, right? That's the third part of this whole section. And the idea is general statement, behaviors is what device you're using, what time frame, and it also depends on the vertical that you're using. So apparel, training frequency, food and drinks, cooking frequency, and this is the type of data that you want to capture in order to double down on your customers. So there are 4 ways to actually do this, right? I give you the pitch, right? How do you what is it that you're trying to accomplish? But the question is, how do you actually accomplish that? And option 1 is you can do it through customer interviews. Option 2 is you collect that through surveys, third party like reviews like Facebook, and then the last one is first party data. And I think Jake mentioned it again. The idea behind direct to consumer marketing is it allows you to actually directly own and control customer data. Most people think, and I love to say this, and I say it on my calls with so many brands, most people think that Amazon is this Goliath in the e-commerce industry. But if you look back, history repeats itself. If you look back in the late 1800s, J.D. Rockefeller made a fortune mining oil. That's what they were known for. And if you fast forward to present day in the late 2000s, Amazon, Jeff Bezos became a billionaire mining data on Amazon. Sure, yes, they do e-commerce, but if you really peel back the layer of the onion, they're in the data mining business. And that's why people are, consumers love Amazon because they always get, fast shipping, free shipping. If you get a product that doesn't, for whatever reason doesn't work, it's defective, you'll probably get a refund from Amazon. And that's why people go to Amazon. That's why it's really the competitor in terms of direct to consumer brands. So the question is, how do you do what Amazon does, right? If you want to build your direct to consumer brand to be customer centric, like Amazon or better than Amazon, how do you do that? It starts off with collecting first party data reviews, right? So this is obviously a screenshot from Okendo. But you're able to, the idea is to collect the attributes. So it's split up in 2. You have product attributes, which is all the data that is related to the product. And then you have customer attributes, which is all the data that's related to the customer, like age range, eye color. Obviously, it all depends on the industry that you're in and the product that you're selling. And the idea is you don't need to put a gun to the customer's head and force them into selecting them. So the idea is you don't make everything mandatory. You make some things optional. So obviously this is a beautiful capture of Klaviyo and Okendo. So on the right hand side is the Okendo review capture page, and that's part of how that's where everything starts. After the shopper interacts on your website and purchases the product, and they receive a review request emails that either you can go through Okendo or through Klaviyo. they're able to select the attributes that is relevant to their experience with the product. So the first step would be this. So, and then after you collect this information, that syncs over to Klaviyo, for example, and you can then market to those customers. So one of the questions I always get from brands, what's an awesome strategy that you can actually ensure your shoppers go through the submission funnel, and then, complete the review. So one way you can do it is you can incentivize shoppers to submit the review by offering them some sort of coupon or incentive. So for example, I'm a shopper, I purchase a product, I go to the review page. If I have an incentive, I'll see like maybe a 10% or 20% off on my next order. I am now more incentivized to purchase the product because at the end of the road, I get a discount. And then that information, all of those attributes that you capture from the customer sync over to Klaviyo. And Jake mentioned it, you can get really robust and fancy in terms of creating campaigns around either direct to consumer marketing campaigns, or you can create Facebook ad campaigns against those attributes that you capture. So for example, hey, show me all customers that purchased in the last 30 days that rated it 5 stars, that let's just say we're in apparel, that said the fit was just the right fit. Send an email to those people or send out a Facebook campaign to those people. Step 2 is once you get that segmentation, how do you drive engagement? Well, that's your secret weapon, right? That's where you end up capitalizing on it. And this is where you build trust, you facilitate decision making, and then you drive. The end goal is to drive conversions. So what I did was I pulled an example of an engagement campaign. Born Primitive is a customer of ours. They're in apparel, but they focus on working out, athletics, and all that good stuff. So one of the things that I mentioned at the beginning of the call is how do you market to consumers during times of COVID-19? So one way is, for example, Born Primitive is, let's just say they're capturing the demographics, age, gender, and then fitness goal. Fitness goal being maybe a customer attribute, right? Their customer attribute is build strength. So say, for example, segment 1 is 18 to 45, and then the gender is male, and then their goal is build strength. On the left-hand side, if you see here, what they can do ideally is to send out a campaign, maybe only via Klaviyo, obviously, because they can create that audience segmentation, and then they can cater it towards, COVID-19 theme, right? Cabin fever, no problem. Here's a download the program. It's not just about pushing consumers to purchase your product, but it's really about value, right? And that's why direct consumer brands are different than any other. They're different than Amazon. They're different than anybody else because it's not just a transactional relationship. You're actually building a real relationship. Second idea for a campaign, Anne-Marie, they do skincare. Again, build out an audience segmentation, send out an email campaign via Klaviyo, for example, and then you can throw in a social proof of reviews for the product that you're trying to promote. Third, another idea for a campaign, and I don't know why it says idea 2, it should be idea 3, but for example, this one is in the food and beverage industry. Again, capture your audience segmentation, and then you tailor it towards the type of household and the type of theme. So we're in the theme of quarantine, and the household depends on the shopper, right? So you have a bachelor's edition, for example, and you have the 4 family edition. So by capturing all of this audience segmentation, all this data, you're able to double down on products that work. You can remove products that don't work, for example, and you can just target what shoppers really, really want at the end of the day. Step 3, you've done all this stuff. Now shoppers are clicking your emails. It's all working out, but how do you actually drive sales? And you do that with social proof and user-generated content. Jake mentioned he has a plug. I'm going to mention my plug. With Okendo, what you can do is say somebody interacted with an email that came from Klaviyo that included the data that was collected via Okendo, for example. With Okendo, you can set up on your brand a reviews widget on the left-hand side. You see here the little green star, and that follows the shopper as they kind of flow through the website, your brand's website. And if they were to click on this widget, it'll pull up an overall summary of all the reviews for the products. So they're getting, I don't want to say bombarded, but they're constantly getting the social proof reinforced through their shopping experience. And then once they actually click on a product page, and I'll give an example of this. Let's just say somebody is on a brand's website, It could be Kim Kardashian's website, and they have Kim Kardashian's product page for a particular product. They have that open, right? And then they have Kim Kardashian's two other competitors. And let's just say, for sake of example, all three brands have 5-star ratings and positive written reviews. Which brand does the shopper actually go with? If all else is equal, if the images look great, the website is really clean, and all the website product reviews have 5 stars, how do they make a decision? Chances are, if you're like me, you'll probably go on Reddit. You'll probably go on Facebook. You'll go on Google and look and type in, the product name and then reviews, and you'll probably ask your friends. The moment you add attributes, whether it's a skin type, whatever industry that you're in that's related to the product, now the customer, the shopper that's about to make a decision, has way more information in front of them, and they're able to make a logical decision with a due diligence that they have in front of them versus going to an outside website like Facebook or Reddit or whatever it is. There's a lot more depth in the review versus just a basic 5-star rating that they can now relate to. And now they're going to purchase that product based on those attributes because they're like, hey, that's speaking my language. That's the one part of attributes. The second part of attributes that's so important, I mentioned it prior, is the reason why Amazon is a king at what they do. Again, they're capturing data and they're doubling down on their business and scaling it based on the data that they're capturing about those customers. That's my spiel. Second plug is obviously everyone's saying it. We are living in crazy times. It's super unpredictable. Nobody really knows what's going to happen in a week from now. So if anybody signs up with Okendo after this webinar, and you can send me an email, whatever it is, you get your first 90 days free. It's on us. No gimmicks. There's no in between lines or anything like that, whatever you say. But you sign up, you get 90 days free. We set you up and you launch, and you set up with Klaviyo, and you're good to go. So that's my spiel. I'll minimize the screen and stop sharing here.
Yeah, thank you, More. Appreciate that. There is one question from the group here. That person was asking about the lines of community. So how would you tell brands on how could they encourage brand loyal customers to interact with each other, whether that's on social or other external channels that may be out of your direct ownership?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Let's just say with Okendo, for example, when the review gets submitted, the merchant has the option to share that review on Facebook, and they can even create a Facebook ad campaign against that review, and that obviously shows up on Facebook. That's one way. Another way is we have an integration with a company called 460, and shoppers that tag the brand or the product can interact with other shoppers. That's another way. But as far as interacting, once you build that, another part I forgot to mention, when shoppers leave reviews, I think a huge tactic, and somebody asked me this yesterday on the call, it's like, should I allow negative reviews, 3 stars, 2 stars, to actually get uploaded to the product page? Like, do I do that? And there's a huge argument there. And my personal opinion is, yes, allow it. Because it's easy, everything looks good when things are going well, but what happens when shit hits the fan? What do? Customers want to know how the brand actually handles their customer experiences when it doesn't work out. So one way you can do it is actually reply to those customers publicly on the product page, and other customers actually see it. That's one way. You can enable Q&As on the product page, so other customers can ask questions and people can respond back. So that would be my short spiel.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, thank you, Morg. We appreciate that. And I think you hit on some really key things, specifically around collecting that customer data, creating a customized experience through tailored quizzes. I've seen that on a lot of e-commerce sites, and I actually really appreciate that when they deliver products to me that is most relevant to my needs. So that's really, really great takeaway there. So up next, and certainly not least, we have someone from our team, Ashley Spiker. Ashley, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Hey guys. Okay, awesome. Can you see my screen?
In just a second. I do not see your screen at the moment.
Okay. Let's try it again.
Okay.
I've been presenting. Okay, let me try again. Okay, how about now?
Yes, it looks like it's about to show now. Oh, I know what. Let's do this. There we go. That should fix it.
Okay, everyone can see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So thank you guys so much for hanging in there. I'm the last one to go. So this kind of brings it full circle. And I'm going to be talking about how brands can use affiliates and influencer marketing to drive customer loyalty. Before I get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I do run all of our partnerships here, and my background is actually in affiliate marketing. I've been in affiliate marketing for over 10 years now, and I really have been on all sides. So I first started out as a blogger and publisher, and now then I actually was an affiliate manager helping merchants connect with affiliates as an affiliate manager. And now I manage our technology, agency, and affiliate partnerships here at Refersion. So a little bit about Refersion and who we are. We were founded in 2014. Our headquarters is in New York City, and our business development team is based out of Miami, where I'm located, just like more. So the purpose of Refersion is to help merchants manage, track, and grow their affiliate and influencer program at scale. We provide all of the tracking technology, platform, and integrations to make this a seamless experience. Before I can really dive in to show you how this can create customer loyalty, especially during these crazy times, I want to make sure that everyone can understand the basic overview of affiliate marketing. So first of all, basically, to manage an affiliate program, you're essentially rewarding people for driving sales or performance. So the first step here is, of course, you're going to sign up and onboard those affiliates. We at Refersion, we do offer you a registration page, or if you're already working with affiliates or influencers, you can actually just upload them via CSV. So we help you get onboarded and set up, of course. And next, tracking orders is where Refersion steps in. We help generate all of those tracking links and coupon codes, as well as providing, and most importantly, all of the reporting and data to help evolve your program and help make better informed decisions. And lastly, you're going to reward those affiliates for the sales they've driven. So just as Chase showed some brands, more as a reference point, I want to show you some of these brands that we work with to show you that really any vertical or category can excel and use the concept of affiliate marketing to help track all of the different performance campaigns. Some quick stats that Richard and the marketing team helped me pull on just what we're seeing. So 43% of US marketers reported using influencer marketing. 48% of US marketers measure the impact of influencer marketing via sales. So what that means is like based on performance, and that's all under the affiliate umbrella. And then us here at Refersion, we actually observed a 31% increase in total influencer and affiliate conversion order value among customers during this COVID-19 pandemic. So again, sticking to kind of the topic of how are we going to improve and scale customer loyalty using affiliate marketing, when I am talking to a merchant for their program, they immediately maybe think of working with influencers and affiliates, but many times they really forget their most loyal base, and that's their customers. So your customers love your brand so much, they purchase your products, so why not turn them, continue incentivizing them and turn them into affiliates? So there's a couple of points here why this is so important and how this can really work. So first of all, it obviously helps really jumpstart your referral efforts. It really is one of the quickest ways we see to launch into referral marketing. It also is great because it gives you proof of concept really quickly and kind of like boosts morale and gives a really great sense of getting your program started as quickly as you can. And here at Refersion, we actually have a feature built into the platform that will help you and allow you to be able to get started as quickly as possible. And that's called our Refersion post-purchase notification. So what this is essentially a pop-up that comes up on the thank you page. So after a customer has placed an order, essentially, you, the merchant, are allowed to craft and create any kind of incentive there and even test what incentives are going to work best to help motivate and turn those customers into your affiliates. So a couple of examples here would be something like 15% commission, or something more common that we'd see on the post-purchase notification would be $15. So, incentivizing the customer for driving sales based on those different incentives will really help them opt in. So on the post-purchase, like I just said, there's an immediacy here. So it's essentially a one-click button to join. What we're doing on the backside is we're pulling the information from the order that they just placed. So they don't even need to really fill out or provide any additional information. So we're capturing all of that. And then depending on your promotional method of wanting to allow a tracking link or a coupon code, the customer is able to pull that immediately and go share it with their friends and family. They're tracked inside Refersion, just like any other influencer, but this is a really great tool to help onboard and grab the customer's attention immediately after purchase. So additionally, another reason here is that store credit really makes sense. And the reason I say that again is because when you're working with affiliates or influencers, they're probably going to want a percentage of sales, something like, I'll go with my example, 15%. But with this audience, it's great because you can really offer store credit. So the money is going back into the brand and the customer is happy because they already love your products. So they love that store credit feature. Also, the best and most successful referral programs that we've seen are built with authenticity. So customers genuinely love your product. And with these right incentives, they're excited to share your brand with their friends and family. And then most importantly here, as we were saying, why marketers are really using influencer marketing from the statistic is that within Refersion, you can really track your true ROI. Those are things like clearly conversions, sales, find, and this is a big point, find who's most influential. So you can do this all inside your reporting section in your Refersion program. So how can a merchant take it to the next level? Aside from the little bits and pieces that I just spoke about, I like to kind of move ahead and craft the idea that you're really creating best friends forever if you can really move with that ethos. So here's a couple different things that I've seen merchants do that genuinely takes their programs to the next level. So the first point here is to consider sending a welcome box or swag. Many of the companies that we work with, they do send their affiliates and partners company swag. So that's things like, it can be anything, branded stickers, t-shirts, hats, anything that really makes them feel special. And these promotional methods really serve you, the merchant, in several different ways. They feel appreciated and like they're part of the family. And second, it clearly puts them in a position to wear and promote your brand, both in public and more naturally on their website or through social media. The second point here is that affiliates really love customized co-branding. So here's some quick examples of what I've seen work best there would be something like maybe the brand offers a unique landing page. These are obviously for like standout affiliates, but a unique landing page that would really take it to the next level. That makes the influencer feel so special. Maybe you guys work on, I know actually Glossier does this. They have influencer landing pages that show the products that are most important to that influencer and ones that they're speaking about. In addition, things like providing a vanity link URL for tracking links. That would be something like walmart.com/Ashley, where we're tracking that. That's actually like an affiliate tracking link, but it looks so personal. You don't have to do any weird bit.ly or anything like that. It just really takes it to the next level. And then finally, a personalized coupon code. Again, that can all be tracked right inside Refersion, but it really just, puts something special on it. The next point is, seems obvious, but I haven't seen that many merchants do it. So I think there's a lot of room for growth here. And that is to hold partner events both in real life when we get back to some normalcy here, of course, and also virtually. Again, creating that community, I think that, one of the biggest mistakes that merchants use is just they kind of take a hands-off approach. And I actually really suggest doing the opposite. So, holding a Zoom or some kind of community effort right now to bring everybody together. And on that note, we've also been seeing a lot of merchants show a lot of great success by hosting a completely private social channel on Facebook and Instagram just for that affiliate community. This does a couple of things. Number one, it really helps keep the brand on their top of mind. So if they're logging into their Facebook or Instagram or even email or wherever, and they're seeing those group posts in that community, clearly, they'll think of the brand, but also, again, it helps create that special community. So here's a couple points on, again, emphasizing the importance of staying connected. So keeping the relationship here strong and alive with your affiliates, it also signals consumers and other partners that your relationship is genuine and trustworthy. It leads to obviously more high value partnerships that benefit your business in other ways. And again, a really strong point here that I like to make on all of our onboarding and educational calls is we really encourage our merchants to build enduring relationships and stay connected about focusing on the good and not being greedy or presumptuous, especially in kind of like the affiliate industry when you're dealing with commissions and transactional relationship. And that helps ensure that everyone is getting something beneficial and everybody is winning. Those are like the optimal affiliate relationships. So things here to consider and advice would be to make decisions based on what benefits everyone. And that's when you're really going to see that genuine relationship bloom. We also advocate here for partnering with affiliates who actually support your brand. So going back to the customers, that's simply because consumers are genuinely turned off by anything that is going to feel inauthentic. I'm sure you've all seen really bad influencer marketing ads where it looks totally forced. So the point here is to let the affiliates and also customers promote your product and service in a way that's genuine to them, but it also still aligns with your branding goals. And finally, don't make your affiliates feel like they have to track you down for answers. This is the connection part, or payments or insight. And even something as COVID-19, as brands are really figuring everything out, don't disconnect. Stay as connected as you can and keep them in the loop, even if your business isn't running for a period of time or your office is closed. No excuses there. Make sure to stay connected. And finally, I'm actually going to pop into some examples really quick in real life, kind of bringing this all together and showing you guys Refersion merchant examples. So Perfect Keto is a brand we actually all might have in common as a collective here, but I know they use Recharge, for example, for sure. So this is a keto-based brand, and I love what they did because they really created an affiliate community group and really took it to the next level. So their affiliate program includes top affiliates and pro marketers. So things like health coaches, things that really speak to their brand. A couple of other things that they do is they really let these types of affiliates try their products for free. So they mail them a product to be able to try. They're also given that personalized coupon code that I was talking about to promote, and then they receive a commission for every sale driven with that coupon code. So that's all tracked in Refersion. And finally, as you can see on this slide, this picture here, they actually worked on a live leaderboard to continue incentivizing those affiliates and rewarding with bonuses. So that's pretty phenomenal. That really, again, it doubled the incentive really, because then looking at these kind of numbers, they're able to then give bonuses and run different kind of reward programs and really branch it off of that. And then finally, the next example here is going to be Pure Vita Bracelets, a really great fashion accessories brand that we work with out of San Diego. So I like this example because they've really continued to have their program evolve in a beautiful and really organic way. So first of all, they have a rep program. They actually have quite a crazy number of reps, and they're all given that coupon code that gives the 20% off and also tracks a commission. So that's great for all of their affiliates and ambassadors sharing those codes on like an Instagram ad that you see here on the left-hand side. And then the reps can use those coupon codes to go out and share it with whomever they want. And then to take it to the next level, that was great, but really to take it to the next level here, Pure Vita launched a bonus tier reward program. So that means for every specific amount of sales that they drive, so for example, every 1st, 3rd, 5th, 10th, and 25th sale, Pure Vita is also rewarding their ambassadors with a special prize. So that's things like a t-shirt, obviously a special bracelet. They've done a clutch before. And at Refersion, we were able to work with Pure Vita Bracelets alongside their agency and their fulfillment center, and we're auto-creating and sending those rewards out on their behalf as well. So that's just kind of a look at a more organic approach. They also have the private social channels that I was speaking to, and they've really been able to create a really special community there. So I hope that the screen share worked and everyone was able to enjoy their presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Ash. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. I really appreciate that. You hit on some really good points there about engaging your current customer base and using the product unboxing as well as social to engage with them and recruit them for your affiliate program. Which actually, a couple of questions came up. The first is, does Refersion help brands find targeted influencers to work with?
We do, yeah, we actually do. So part of the Refersion platform, we have something that was grown organic on the marketplace that has over 16,000 affiliates and influencers that they can join and look for the brands that they want to work with. We're also updating that. That's part of a project that I'm working on. I'm really excited about. Marketplace has grown, like I said, almost organically, really, and it's a really easy way for merchants to get started finding those affiliates and influencers. So yes.
Awesome. And then another question just came in. As a new brand on Refersion, is there any option to promote or announce ourselves to the Refersion marketplace?
Yes, so you are able to create a unique offer for that Refersion marketplace. And then basically, I mean, obviously you want to have an incentivizing offer. You do want to take a look at what other merchants in your category are offering. You want to stay on par with that, of course. But yes, you can have a unique offer placed there. And then pretty much you'll see, just because of the amount of affiliates that we have, those applications are going to start rolling in. And you're able to review all those registration details and decide if you would like to partner with them.
Awesome, awesome. And how about publishers? They asked about also being connected with publishers. Is that an option?
Yes, that's kind of in the same vein of the marketplace. We have, like I said, just because of the volume, you're going to find all different types: affiliates, influencers, publishers, professional affiliates, anything and everything. So it's kind of your opportunity there to collect those details on your registration page that I was mentioning about, and then you'll filter out there and find who's the best fit for you, including publishers.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
thank you, everyone, for sticking in with us for a while. So before we thank our presenters for joining us, I just wanted to remind you that if you haven't already subscribed, you can click the subscription button right there, and you can hit the notification bell to get updates on our future virtual events. Our next virtual event is taking place on May 14th. Today, you learned about improving the customer experience. Now we're going to go into customer acquisition strategies with some great subject matter experts joining us from Shogun, Gorgeous, and we have one more that's joining us in the group as well. So I just want to thank all of our presenters today and our subject matter experts. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat box and we'll definitely follow up with you. And you will also have this recording available on the same link, as well as a follow-up email coming out to you tomorrow. All right, everyone, we want to thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks to
Yeah.
all of our partners.